created man best of stature. Then we reduced him to the lowest of the low and saved those who believe and who do righteous deeds. And they shall have a reward, an endless reward. Then what causes you to deny the recompense? Is Allah not the best of the judges? So respected audience, my respected colleagues, and my honorable supervisor, Mr. Reda. Before starting my UKC presentation, I would like to welcome all of you here with this topic, which is in front of you. Now you can see that. I welcome all of you, Mr. Rob. And before continuing, I would like to pay a humble tribute to all those people, my predecessors, those who have given the presentations before me. It is all because of them, the presentation, that I learned a lot, and I'm in their place. So I would like to pay a tribute to Mr. Yasir and Mr. Hadi, and of course, Mr. Malin. After giving the tribute, I would like to announce my topic. It is actually learning style and learning strategies. Learning style and learning strategies. So even I will not come directly to my topic, learning style and learning strategies. Before that, again I will give you the reference that I have quoted a verse or a surah from the Holy Quran, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that we have created man in the best of the forms. And we people as teachers, we are actually dealing with the best form. They are sane people, they are having the thinking power, or we have to deal with them. It's not an easy task. We are not dealing with insane people or insane creatures. So, when you are interacting with the students or you are dealing with them, I will tell you that what is my strategy. All of you are senior, mashallah. I have been here just for 2 months. I know student psychology. I will just, you can say, jot down student psychology in a simple sentence. Then you can understand that what they think about us. Students actually, they have this thing in mind. I don't care how much you know. This is their psychology that they don't care how much you know. Either we are a scholar, we are a PhD doctor, or we are knowledgeable people, we are experienced people. They don't concern with this thing. So this is their psychology that I don't care how much you know. Sorry, I don't care how much you know. What they want from us is actually, unless I know how much you care. This is student psychology. Every student, not only in the Bahari University, wherever you will go. So this is their psychology. I don't care how much you know, unless I know how much you care. So dear fellows, this factor of care is the most important for students. And if you really want to develop this factor of care, what you are supposed to do, you are supposed to develop a sort of relation with them. A sort of relation with them. How you can create or you can develop a relation with them is that you should know them. You should know them. You should know your students. But by saying that you should know them, I don't mean that you should know about their family background, or you should know about their religious creeds, or you can say, running after their political preferences. By saying that you should know them, being a professional teacher, you should know about their learning styles. You should know about the learning styles. And for your convenience, first of all, I would like to tell you that when I say that you should know learning style. So what do I mean by this? If any of my friends from the audience, if we can share with this views regarding learning style, so you will be most welcome. Anybody from the audience who knows about learning styles?
Learning style, sir, means each student has a channel for receiving and processing information.
Exactly. I was expecting you from Mr. Hassan. So he's absolutely right. Or I will rephrase his words. You can say learning style are actually the most suitable, or you can say the most suitable or the most preferred, or you can say the most conducive learning environment for the students to learn. So this is the most important thing in learning style. So the most, you can see the most suitable, the most preferred, the most conducive learning environment for the students. And who will create this learning environment? Of course, we teachers. We teachers have to create the most suitable, most preferred, and most conducive learning environment in the class. And how can we create such an environment unless until we don't know about their learning styles? In my class, if we are 10 students, and I don't know that, what is their learning style? What do they prefer? If they prefer, you can say, listening more, or they want to watch few of the clips, they want to, you can say, use something practically. I cannot create this learning environment. That's why I usually call myself or a team of my friends and teachers that we are basically actors. So we used to perform in the class. We have to do different acts. Sometimes we are their friends, sometimes we are their coordinators, or sometimes we play different roles in the class. Now this thing, when you have this thing in mind, now the second point is that you have to infer from their dealing, their learning style. But before it is appropriate, I would like to tell you a brief, you can say a brief background or brief history of the learning style. That what are learning style and from where we got this idea of learning style. So if you have a tissue, so we present, bring down a tissue. Thank you very much.
Is enough?
Thank you very much, Mr. Seda. Now if you see the brief background or the history of the learning style, that's from where we got this idea. So for this background, the very first name which comes into mind, or whenever you will Google learning style, you will find a name. It's David A. Cole. David A. Cole was the first educationist, and he was from America, and fortunately he was from Mr. Ali's place. He was from Ohio. He was he was a professor in the university in Ohio. He was the very first person who has introduced this, you can say, this phenomenon of learning styles. His phenomenon of learning style, this started in 1970s, but he properly published his model of learning style in 1984. In 1984. And all his work was actually based on his own theory, which was ELT. His own theory was ELT. And what exactly ELT was? It was actually experiential learning theory. It was experiential learning theory. And from where we got this idea of experiential learning theory? So what do we mean by experiential learning? It's very simple, that from the word experiential, it is derived from the word experience. So when you say experiential learning, it means that learning through experience. It is actually learning through experience. Or if you make it you can see that learning through reflection on doing. So this is actually experiential learning theory. On this theory, based on this theory, he has proposed the learning style model, and at the same time, he has introduced another term which was LSI. What was it? It was learning style inventory or questionnaire, with the help of which he can easily drive or learn the learning style of his student, or you can say the learners. Now once again, if you see this one, experiential learning theory, it's not a new idea, or it's not in the 20th century or 21st century. So it has its roots in the Greeks. One of the most famous Greek philosopher, Aristotle, you must have heard about him. One of the most important philosopher around, you can say, 350 BC. Aristotle, he wrote in his book, that the things we learn before doing it are the things we learn by doing it. Understand? You got the idea? So we learn by doing things. We cannot learn before doing things. So this is what actually Aristotle has proposed. So whenever I told you that you will see learning style questionnaire or learning style, everything which is relevant to the learning style, you will find David A. Cobb, because he was the propagator of this term. After you can say David A. Cobb, the second important name is actually Howard Gardner. Howard Gardner. He was actually in the same era, and he has proposed his model of multiple intelligence. He has proposed his model of multiple intelligence in his book Frames of Mind. In his book Frames of Mind, and it was around about, you can say, 1983. What was his point of view? His point of view was that all of us, all humans, or particularly specifically the learners, they are actually a composition of different intelligence. So there can be, you can say, linguistic intelligence, or literary intelligence, or you can say logical intelligence, or mathematical intelligence, or you can say social intelligence. We usually use to say that intrapersonal or interpersonal intelligence. So when you are talking about this intelligence, he actually criticized the system, the academic system. He was of the view that we normally judge our students on the basis of these intelligence: linguistic, literary, logical, and mathematical. Though they have other intelligence as well. So those students, those who are not good in linguistics, they can be good in IT, they can be good, they can be smart, you can say, in other physical tasks. Same is the case with our students in the Bahal University. So this is, I used to, you can discuss with my friends as well, that when I was in UAE even, so we discussed this thing that we shouldn't, you can say, judge our students by their, you can say, competency in the language field. So what if they cannot speak English? So maybe they are very good in other intelligence, in other fields as well. So the same is the case here. Howard Gardner has given multiple intelligence model to just to take to limelight the other intelligence of the people. After Howard Gardner, there were another, you can say, education that was space. So we have less time, so I will just explain. So we have some other, you can say, educations as well, Alan Peter and Mumford. So they have proposed their own way of categorizing the students. Their view was that the students can be divided into 4 categories. And what were those categories? So according to them, we have 4 different types of learners. Number 1, pragmatics. And number 4, we have reflectors. So Alan and they were of the view that we can divide the student into 4 different categories on the basis of their literary preference, on the basis of their, you can say, your inclination towards the studies or whatever field. So what are the activists? These are the people, those always ready to do new experience. They are not afraid of any sort of consequences. They are ready to do whatever is new to them. And they take interest in them. They are very active. So if I, in my, you can say, for the 2 last months, I observed all of you. So I will place Mr. Hardy in this category. Then Mr. Hardy is the sort of person who is activist. I will try to, you can say, do new experiences for the lab with the people have done. Second category is of theorists. If you took this category, so these people, they don't take risks, honestly speaking. They are very logical. They always plan their tasks, and they always, you can say, work on Sirat al-Mustaqim. They don't see here and there. They want the work done in this place and with full enthusiasm. They don't want any sort of loopholes, or you can say this sort of thing. And I will not say that who is that person among us. Of course, Mr. Reza. Mr. Reza. So I place Mr. Reza in this category. No, it's okay. Because you know that, as Mr. Reza told us, that we are in a friendly environment. So then the third one, pragmatists. These people, they don't believe in any sort of, you can say, theories or any sort of, you can say, ideas or these things. They are more practical. If there is any theory or idea which is not practical, they don't care about it. So they, on the spot, they will leave it. Because they will ask you that just tell those things which are practical, which have some practicality. And you know that who is the person, my friend Mr. Fonzi. He is always rushing about practical things. What are the practical things? What is the practicality of this thing? And last one, reflectors. These people, they always stay back, they always observe, they always wait, and they always take, you can say, the fruit of other people's experience. They will not initiate anything unless until it is required. So you can see the person in front of you is one of the reflectors. I waited for my turn. I want to see all the presenters that what they are presenting. Then I decided to take my turn. So you can see, I can face myself. So my dear fellows and friends, you can see that different people have portrayed this ideal learning style in different ways. All of them have their own way of thinking. We cannot say that all of them were true or right or wrong. But we can take a little bit from all of them because they were educationists. They have spent their time. I have been working in this field for the last 40 years. Okay? So these people were more qualified, more you can say practical than us. The last one, which I will give you the name, it was Mr. Niall Fleming. Mr. Niall Fleming, if I will tell you about this person, so he was a New Zealander teacher first. After that, he was, you can say, supervisor for 45 schools in New Zealand. And he has observed more than 90,000 classes. More than 90,000 classes. And after observing 90,000 classes, what was the essence of his learning, what was the essence of his work? You can see he has given the most important model of the learning style. It was WAG. We must have thought about this word WAG. So what was it exactly, or what was it actually? So according to him, the learners or the students, they can be divided into 3 important categories. Number 1, we is the visual learner. A, the auditory learner. K, kinesthetic learner. Okay, he has divided the learners into these categories. If you want further the explanation of these categories, so visual learners are those, you can bifurcate them into 2 parts. They are those learners who believe in seeing or reading. Auditory learners, they believe in listening. Yes. They believe in listening and speaking. And kinesthetic, definitely, they believe in doing activities. Mr. Hardy Group. So they believe in doing practically, indulging in some of the, you can say, atmosphere that is more practical, not skills or other things. So this is what all the writers have done. You can see it's a sort of literature review for me that these people are working on these things. Because I don't think we have time for my slides, although I have made slides, I can show you these slides, but I will stop you at places where there are some interesting activities to do. So if I ask my friend Shahadi, can you distribute this? This is the actually learning style metric. You can give the blank. Yes, just one paper. This you can take after the presentation because these are only the strategies which we can use for different sort of students. Now here you can see, this is what we have done already, the core concept, what is the learning style and individual solutions for learning and efficient conditions under which a student is most likely to learn. The core concept is, as Mr. Radha said in the beginning, individual differs in how they learn. This is the core concept. Second, you can say, this is what we have discussed already, David is called pioneer, then ELT, EL, what was, yes. The concept it has, you can say the roots in the Greek. In 350, Aristotle has started this thing for the first time, and this is what he said. For things we have to learn before we can do them. We learn by doing them. This is what Aristotle has said. Now here you can say larger. I have given you Higgs multiple intelligence as well. The next, but there is a big but. That what is the use of all this? What is the use of all this? Why we are learning all these theories or all this stuff? Why it is important? So you can see this is why it is important for me to be aware of my learning style. Why is it important for me to be aware of my learning style? So the answer could be number one, if you are a student. So analyzing your learning style can explain. If you analyze your learning style, this is for the student. When they analyze the learning style, they can understand that why some courses are easier than others. Second, why you learn better from one teacher than from others. Because all of us are working, but students like some of the teachers, they don't like other teachers. So why they prefer one teacher than the other? Why certain assignments are difficult and other learning tasks are easier? So these are the questions. If you learn your learning style, you know what your learning style is, you can understand about all these queries that why this is so. Then you will see in a nutshell, knowing your learning style, adapting your study habits can make a substantial difference in how well you do in classes. Now here you can, this is a short activity. If you have some papers, so you can do it in a brief time, just in 1 minute. What you are supposed to do. If you don't want to do it, it's okay, because I think the question is waiting. So I will explain this to you. I used to give it, by the way, to my students. Not here, but in other places. What is this activity? Just give them 2 minutes. Those who can draw, they will draw diagram or whatever the sketching. Those who can write sentences, they can write sentences. In the beginning, they will feel which you can say reluctant to do these things. But you should take them into confidence by saying that the result is that you have strengths and weaknesses as a learner. Okay, so what you are supposed to do, you should capitalize on your strengths and strive to overcome your weaknesses. Those who can write, so they are verbal learners, they are good in that one. Those who are drawing, they are something else. So there is no, you can say, way of feeling shy or feeling depressed that I cannot draw or I cannot write like this. Similarly, there is another actually learning style questionnaire. It's already with you, I think. I've given it to you. Don't worry, you can do it at home. You can find out your learning style easily. No aspects of learning style. From all this stuff, as I told you, this is not the literature review. So I have read all these learning styles. You can see auditive learner, visual learner, applied learner, conceptual learner, spatial learner, verbal learner, social, independent, creative, or pragmatic learner. In the next slide, you will see the first one, auditive learner. You can see the big here. It shows that what we are expecting from the auditive learner. Now, auditive learners tend to learn more effectively through listening. Visual learners, of course, visual learners tend to learn by seeing face or other visual modes, including films, pictures, or diagrams. Now, here is an activity. In 30 seconds, watch the volume word for 30 seconds and try to reproduce as many as possible. I will display the next slide just for 30 seconds. You will have to watch it. I will remove it. Then on your pages, you will have to write as many words you can recall from your memory. It will show that either you are a visual learner or a visual learner. So are you ready? Are you sleeping?
Yes.
A mixture of sleeping and ready and definitely closer. Okay, now you can see. Your time starts now. Seconds. No, you cannot. No, this is now this is cheating. You cannot try. 15 seconds are left. Okay, dear. Now you have 30 seconds to write as many words you can produce. Wallahi, you are just behaving like a robot. Why don't you okay?
Honestly, paper, mark, sand, beach, market,
Market says.
Fruit.
French.
ice cream,
Okay.
honesty,
Honesty.
Watch.
Is it group work?
Well.
Okay. Everyone is seeing. Okay, that's it. So, because you are teachers, you are my friends, this was an idea to understand that whether the students are visual or auditory. Quickly, I will move to the next slide. Now you can see special learner. This is a bit difficult to understand the idea about this learner, but inshallah I will try to give the idea. What are they? They actually visualize things in their mind, or mentally see how things work, how they are positioned in space. You know, sometimes, for example, I want to take this cable out of this drawer. There are few people who don't have this sort of skills, so they are just pushing it. But if you are special learner, you would say, no, just move it like this, slightly, and this. Then you can take it out of it. So this skill, if you have, you can do it like this. Similarly, have you seen that puzzle? The color puzzle. So yeah, mixture. So those people who have this skill, they can easily do that puzzle. Similarly, the cross and other puzzle. Then again, you can see the next. This is an activity for special learners. What you are supposed to do: write English alphabet in reverse order. You have 30 seconds. Your time starts now. I will count till 10. After that, I will see that how many words you have written in reverse order. Z, X, Z, Y, X like this. So, stop this. Done? This is what was okay, so this is an activity. You can do it at home as well. This is your homework. Okay, this I will ask you to do, definitely. You have 8 sticks here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Write 6 with these 8 sticks. Just try to write 6 with these 8 sticks. Done? Okay, I will see. Mr. Malin, can I see how you have written this 6 with 8 sticks? Yeah, that's it. That's it. You can say. You can see Mr. Malin has written 6 with these 8 sticks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know that once I was doing the same thing with other students and a student who was very different, a creative student. What he did, he wrote like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 like this. I was surprised. So it depends. As I told you that we people have individual differences. So we work in a different way. Next you can see verbal learners are those learners involved with written and spoken words, love reading and writing, the two that use verbal styles include public speaking, debating, politics, writing and journalism. This is all about the verbal learners. Activity. Mr. Fawzi, if you are a verbal learner, can you read it?
this message serves so proves
Mr. Reza?
our minds can do amazing things.
Who can read it without any mistake?
Beginning it may be hard, but now I have very bad eyesight.
This message serves to prove how our minds can do amazing things, impressive things. In the beginning, it was hard, but now, on this line, your mind is reading it automatically without even thinking about it. Be proud. Only certain people can read this.
Okay,
You know what? It's already been posted in email. Most of the FB work.
then you can see we have social learners and independent learners. By social learners, we mean those people who work in groups. They love to work in groups. And much of our students, they all don't only like to work in groups in classes, but in exams as well. So these are the social learners. You will find a lot of groups of social learners in your classes. But we are looking for, you can say, looking for the other category, which is actually, this is an activity again for just passing the message for to find out that either you are social learners or not. And the second one is independent learner. I love these learners, independent learners or interpersonal learners. Even in your classes, you will see that there are certain students. So they don't want to work with others. They will ask you, request you, just give me a different task. I would like to complete that task. So what sort of people they are? They are self-motivated, they are goal-oriented, and they are the best people. Now, this is what I told you. Applied learners are those learners, they are very bad in the class. If you have applied learners in your class, what they used to do, I will tell you. When you explain to them about verbs or action verbs, you are happy with your class, nobody is asking anything. Applied learner will raise his hand and say, apply. I want to see how you can apply action verbs. I want to see how you can apply linking verbs, intransitive verbs, transitive verbs, modals, all this stuff. So they are the applied learners. They bother you by asking questions because they cannot understand until you will apply whatever you are teaching them.
Like Mr. Cody.
Like Mr. Cosby. How can you say this? Then the next category is conceptual learners. They are very good. Most of our students, they behave like conceptual learners. They are understanding everything. They don't have any questions. When you finish your lesson, they will say, "Halas, break. I'm happy." If you once a student asks you a question, when I started, you can explain it. The other student said, "No, we will tell you." Don't worry. So they are the conceptual learners. Then the last two categories, creative or pragmatic learners. Creative learners are those, as I told you, those who are genius people. This world in which we are living just because of the creative people, not because of us. We are stereotype of people. We are enjoying the facilities of those people who have really worked. I don't know from where this light comes and goes, how AC works, how telephone works. So all this creation, all this invention, the world is just because of the creative people. And if you see pragmatic people, as I told you, they are practical people. They love to do things practically. And the last thing, this is the last activity for all of you. If you want to do it, it's up to you. So try to make as many words as possible by using the alphabet in word generation. You can take just 1 minute to write down the word by using these alphabets. Yes, you're not supposed to do it, but it's an activity, I'm telling you, because of safer side. So you will find people, they can make even 30 words out of this word generation. And you will be amazed to see that when I was actually reading about this activity of generation, so the target was 1,000 words. I was surprised, how can one make 1,000 words out of this word generation? It's a very important word. So if you will use this one, energy, and sometimes Russian, sometimes you will see, you will get gene, and you will get different words to the same word generation. These are the most used alphabets. So now there is another most important activity. I'm sure all of you must be ready for that. So please get ready. Thank you.